What's going on? Mr. Bass Spin to Win live. Saturday night live. And tonight with my buddy Matthew Acevedo. Hey, there's another buddy, Nathan. How's it going, man? Caro, evening. What's going on? Matthew is in the wings, waiting to join us. Morgan, how you doing? What up, Adam? Thanksgiving's right around the corner. Woohoo! Ray, Jan, Ronald, how's it going? Wild Gill, Jeffrey St. John, what's up, boys and girls? Caro, yeah. That's another one. That's a different one. Steve's in the house. Get your fish on. Man, get your fish on's been catching some 12-pounders, or he's been with people catching 12-pounders. Crazy. He sent me a picture. I think he texted it to me. I was going to say, dang, if he sent it to me on my, yeah, he didn't. He's texted it to me, so I can't show it to you. Man, his buddy caught a 12-something yesterday. So that was pretty wild. Big Bass Dreams, Brian Lee, John Smith, what's going on? Chris. All right, we got a fun show planned tonight. Going to do some of our spin to win, obviously, so you can win some prizes. But Matthew, since our last show with Matthew, he's bought about 300 new swim baits. He's sending me pictures practically every day of new swim baits he's getting. So he's going to share the update to his collection with us, which should be fun. And so we'll bring him in here and see how he's doing. There he is.
Hey.
The one and only.
Hey, how you doing, guys? How you doing, Mr. Bass?
Good. How you been, Matthew?
Good.
What you been doing with yourself?
Is there any echo? I wanted to make sure there wasn't no echo.
Sounds fine to me.
All right. Cool. All right. Yeah. No, I've been good. I've just been hanging around, trying to fish as much as I can, really, before it gets too cold. But besides from that, just relaxing, working, doing anything really, selling some baits, that I'm not using.
Yeah.
But besides from that, yeah, just really just trying to fish as much as I can before it gets too cold. I mean, we've been lucky though. It's been pretty warm here for the past, couple months. Usually gets pretty cold usually, but it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Yeah. So you're up north.
Yeah, I'm from Jersey.
Yeah, you're from Jersey. So what have the temps been like there lately?
Well, at nighttime it has been getting in the high 30s. I mean, and sometimes in the low 40s, but in the midday or pretty much during the day, it's in the 50s. The other day it was in the 70s, which was crazy, but it just dropped out of nowhere right away the next day, pretty much like 20 degrees, and it was like 50. So then from there on, it's just been that temp, but the water hasn't been as cold as you would think. The river is like in the high, I think it's in the mid 50s right now, actually, and by now it should be. And but a couple last week it was still in the high 50s, so in some places it was 60, so
Cool.
It wasn't too bad.
I went fishing today and it was 61 degrees.
Jeez.
The water was.
Nice.
So not bad. It was still bad fishing. Only caught 3 fish.
Where are you at though?
I'm in Missouri, right in the middle of the country.
All right.
Texas Huntsman's got his geography all screwed up. He thinks you and I live in Canada.
Nah.
I agree with him though. He says he hates this time of year, and I hate it too. There's nothing
Yeah,
worse
man.
than getting dark at 5 o'clock, 4:30. Hell,
That's
about
the
the
really
water
worst
temperature
part.
39 today. Jeez, that's terrible.
Jeez. That is terrible.
There's nothing good about that at all.
I can imagine how cold it is outside.
Yeah, for sure. So
But
Josh
how
says
has the
there is an
fishing been though
echo.
for you? There is an echo?
Yeah, that's what he's saying. I don't know why. How about now? Any echo now?
It's probably my.
Testing. Echo.
Shouldn't.
Okay. I think it's stopped now. Whatever you did. Oh, you can hear me twice.
Yeah, it's probably my speaker because, like I said, unless I'm using a headphone set, I probably won't be able to do. But actually, I could do that because I do have one right here. Let me see if it'll still work.
Okay.
I can just use it for audio.
All right, cool.
And then talk through the.
What? Nathan sent in another box. That reminds me, Nathan sent me a box of lures that I'm going to show to you guys on another live stream. He sent me some sweet stuff. So awesome, Nathan. Appreciate it, buddy. All right, now people are saying it's good.
All right, cool. Should work.
Yep, I can hear you fine.
All right, cool. Yep.
Right on. Well, what's going on? I'm doing this tomorrow night, guys. 6 cents Super 6-sack tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. You can see it's pretty fat. A lot of stuff in there. How about that?
Pretty big sack.
Powder blue bag. That'd look good on my 6 cents quilt for sure, wouldn't it?
Why haven't they moved to using a regular plastic bag, like sort of like Monster Bass has?
Yeah, I don't know. They say that they're going to change up their monthly subscription box at the first of the year somehow. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna do.
Yeah, because I think that would be a good idea, because what can you do with those bags, You can only fit so many baits in like one, unless you bring multiple little bags with you, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what you do with that. The 6 cent suit with the ICBM necklace. Yeah, Frank. Right on. You are not kidding, dude. All right. I'm going to do a spin to win question right away just to kind of get us started.
All right.
And
Yeah.
question number one is I'm repping another cool hat. What is this? It's not the owl. What is this? You guys can answer. First one to get it right gets to spin first tonight. Grandpa's asking, where do you fish in Jersey?
That's some secrets. But I mainly fish in South Jersey. I can't give specific like bodies of water, but it's mainly in South Jersey near like Gloucester Township and West Effort Township.
Yeah.
But I fish in those areas. There's plenty of lakes in the area, but I mainly fish river systems like channels and part of that are pretty much part of the Delaware.
You need a kayak, dude.
Yeah, I do. That's what I'm really trying to get to. I really want to get the links. That's what I've really been wanting to get. And because it's perfect, because there's really even with high amount of winds, the waves are sort of like you can call waves that they're not really that intense to the point where they would come anywhere on top of the kayak, even on a windy day. So I think it'd be perfect for it. So that's really what I want to do. Or even if I can't even get that, just get a regular, cheap kayak just to get me started. I don't care. But like I said, I've been catching good amount of fish from the bank, and I think that's why I haven't really done it. But I
The
really think I
links.
could probably excel a little more, and be able to maybe even when I get a channel or do a channel, use that for my videos and stuff like that, and probably be a little bit better.
Definitely. The Lynx is an amazing kayak, man. I was on my Lynx. I fished on my Lynx today, and it's just amazing. Not only is it amazing, but it turns on a dime. It turns like you would not
Yeah, that's
believe,
what I saw.
and it's super
That's what I
stable.
saw.
And I went out with my buddy Dean today, and he has a native Titan. And I was like, as we were getting ready to leave, I said, "Dude, you got to try this." And he was really amazed at how easy the thing is to
You
turn.
know what I wanted to ask you too about that was your links was that do you have the stand-up bar?
No, no,
Ah,
I don't want the bar
I saw
because
that.
I know you can fold the bar down, but I like to do a lot of flipping and pitching. And this time of year, I'm fishing jerk baits, and to me, that bar
Yeah.
would just get in the way. It's
Yeah, I
pretty
know what you're
easy.
saying.
It's pretty easy to stand up. What I do is I just push off the back of the seat to stand up, and it works fine. The key to standing in a kayak is you need to spread your feet as far apart as you can from edge to edge on the boat before you stand up, and that will give you a lot of stability. And if you
Hmm.
just always remember to do that, if you have a brain fart and forget, and you just try to stand up quickly, and your feet are a little close together, you'll get that
Yeah,
rock.
start teetering.
Yeah, you'll get that teetering, and it can be ugly.
That
All
would not
right,
be
Jeff,
good.
congratulations. You're right. This is my bear hat, named after the greatest coach ever, Bear Bryant. Although Nick Saban is fast taking that title away from him. So Jeff is first. This is your ticket. I'll put it in the tumbler for the reel, and then we will let you spin. All right, so we got a couple of new things on the wheel tonight, which I'll show you. I'm just going to go through this in case there's anybody new. Let me zoom in a little bit. And all right. So the way you win, the way you get a chance to spin to win is answer a question like Jeff did tonight on the bear hat. If you land on the Mr. Bass logo, that's the jackpot. You get your choice of 3 prizes. 1 is 1 prize. X, you strike out. You get nothing. Skunk. 2, you get 2 prizes. If you land on this tonight, you win my new Mr. Bass box. That's just a bunch of my baits from home that I picked out, put in a box. Each one of these boxes has at least 3 to 4 lures. Some have as many as 5 and 6. And the value is anywhere from $25 to $50, depending upon which one you get. Mad Swimbaiter in the house. All right. If you land on the Guardian Angel, you win a prize, and you're allowed to pick one person in the comments to win a prize. If you land on KVD, the greatest fisherman of all time, you get a prize out of the KVD crate, which is basically just Strike King lures. If you land on this that says JDM, Matthew is giving away a couple of JDM lures tonight. JDM stands for Japanese Domestic Market, if you don't know. So it's a Japanese product, which is always awesome. If you win, just like Jeff has done tonight, he can't win again tonight. You can only win once. The only exception to the rule is if you strike out, you are allowed to compete to try to win again. I think that's all the rules. Did I miss anything, Matthew?
No.
All right, let's spin for Jeff then. See what he wins, if anything. Oh, I thought he was going to get the red X. All right. If you win a prize, I have 3 buckets. I have a bucket like this one. It has hard baits in it. I've got one in the middle, miscellaneous items, or soft plastics. All you have to do is tell me which bucket suits your
Did
fancy.
you? I was looking for the plastics. Did you tell them about the JDM one?
Yeah, I did tell him about the JDM.
All
Yep.
right, cool.
The word is out, dude. Weston White broke his rod the other day and something. Now I'm
Well,
only
you know
down to
what? Let
2
me
bait
show. Let me
casts.
at least show. I guess what they'll win.
Yeah, let's see what you're going to
Uh,
give away.
I
Oh,
got
yeah, that's
the
right.
Mega
Nice.
Bass Curly 3.5 inches,
Okay,
Murray
cool.
Curlies,
All right.
and DRT VTS 5s.
Nice. DRT.
They're like a fluke style bait,
All right, cool.
and also the Depths Bull Flats, the
Bull flat.
5.8s.
Sweet. Awesome. Okay, I forgot. Jeff's Canadian. Thanks for reminding me, Jeff. So Jeff gets a $5 gift card is what he gets. Because postage is brutal
Yeah,
in Canada.
it sucks, man.
All right. Got you down, Jeff. Thanks, man. All right. So Weston went out and broke his rod, and right before a
That
tournament too.
sucks.
That's never fun. I've never,
Nah.
I don't want to say I've never. I've definitely broken rods, but I've been lucky. I don't break many rods. I've stepped on one
So have
before.
I.
I've closed one in my tailgate of my truck before. I've closed one in the the rod locker lid on my boat. Uh, stuff like that.
Yeah,
I've broken.
I've done the same thing with my door.
Yeah, I've
My
broken
car
stuff.
door, I just literally closed.
I've broken several guides off my rods. That's pretty
Yeah,
easy to do.
that
But
what I usually do. That's what happens to me mostly.
Mad Swimbaiter's breaking them like it's a hobby. He's broken 6 rods. Yeah,
Jesus.
the tailgate break is very, very disappointing.
Oh God, I've had that happen. My dad did that to me. Oh,
I did.
that was
Hey,
not good.
I got a buddy that his dad. I don't remember if his dad broke his rod or threw it in accidentally knocked it into the lake. One of the two. It was like a $300 or $400 rod, and he ended up replacing it with like a ugly stick or something.
Oh
20
yeah,
twenty
I remember you
$20
said
rod.
that.
Uh,
Here's your replacement.
yeah, that's pretty crazy. Man, we got a lot of rod breakers out there. Broke the tip off my spinning rod. Frank broke a rod last weekend. Yeah.
I had a couple weeks ago. I had that happen where I set the hook and then my rod just completely just snapped. I was like, "What the heck just happened?" Scared the hell out of me though.
No doubt. Big Bass Streams makes a good point. Sometimes when you're buying a rod, you say to yourself, man, that's expensive. I'm not going to pay for a high dollar rod. But one thing you get when you put a little more money into a rod is a lot of times that those companies have much better warranty programs. So
Yep. Yeah.
it's something to keep in mind. If you're just getting started in fishing, maybe you don't need a very fancy rod, but as you start to
That's why really those St. Croix rods, man, they
St.
pay
Croix has a
off on their
great
own.
St. Croix has a great warranty program for sure. Oh, Ray brought one of his Legend Extremes. Well, that's another one. Legend Extremes. That's a St. Croix. Great warranty
Yep.
on those things.
Yeah, man. I think it's just worth it in the end. Like you said before, you get almost like it's like you're having 2 rods, just in
Exactly.
case.
Exactly. Then the other thing, what Booster's saying is not a bad idea too. If you learn how to repair them, uh, that's something you can do also.
Yeah. Or if you have a
Victory
shop near you
Victory
that knows
rods
how to
come with
repair
a
them.
15-year warranty.
Jeez.
That's a pretty good warranty, man. 15 years. Holy moly.
Yeah. The that's why I actually got the Akuma rod. I got the SBX rod. They pretty much come with a lifetime warranty. So
I've never
I
tried
was
an
like,
Akuma rod.
they're really good, man. I
I
was really
know.
surprised.
I know. Years ago, old what's his name down in Florida was sponsored by them. Um, oh, what's his name? Help me out, Booster. Booster always has my memory for me. Uh, Roland Martin's son, Scott Martin. Scott
Scott
Martin used
Martin.
to
Oh,
be,
ah,
Scott Martin used to be sponsored by them, and then he went to Favorite Rods, I guess, and I think
I
he still
swore I
are
thought he
Favorite.
was.
But I've seen several
It's
YouTubers
been a
that get
while.
them. So, but yeah. All right.
But yeah, they make good stuff. And like I said, that rod, it's overall the blank on it is extremely heavy duty. The guides they come with are extremely nice. They're in a K series angle guides, so they're like all on an angle upwards. It's pretty interesting actually. Instead of having that flat, pretty much position like the Daiwa rod is, that's pretty much like $90
Yeah.
swim bait rod, and that one comes with just flat guides. This one has angle K guides that they pretty much go all up in an angle, so it kind of helps with that casting.
Yeah.
And you barely have to do anything with that rod since it is pretty stiff and it's on its own. But you'll be surprised how much it bends when you actually put force on it. And it's pretty surprising that you wouldn't think for a rod that holds 5 to 14 ounces would bend much, but it does. And that's why I actually like it a lot.
Awesome. Have you ever had a rod with spiral guides? You ever check that out?
Yeah, this one right here is spiral rod right here.
Really? Spiral guides
Yeah,
are,
I'll take it
are
out right
awesome,
now.
man. I
Yeah,
think they are fantastic. I've only got one.
this one is crazy.
I've got a mega bass rod with spiral guides, and man, it is sick.
Let me get it out. This
And
one here has like
I think there's really
special
some
carbon too.
I really think there's some science behind spiral guides. I really do.
There is. It makes plenty of sense if you really look it up. And I think it does. And it actually helps you get, I think, more force out of or leverage when the actual you get the bites that you're getting. But the see how
Yeah,
it
so
goes
that's a
from
that's a swim bait rod.
pretty much. It's pretty much, but actually it's a saltwater rod.
Cool. I don't know if you guys can see
But
that, but your normal rod, your guide guides are all lined up evenly, but spiral guides actually wrap around the rod. See how you got one on the top, one on the side, one on the bottom, and what it does is once it gets to the bottom, then they all line up straight.
yep.
And
And
what?
that, pretty much what that does is like I said, when you get the fish on, you'll have that rod bends on itself pretty much, but then as it's bending, it wants to pull back up because it's pretty much bending in the opposite direction.
Yeah,
So the guides are in the opposite direction, really. So the
right,
rod wants to pull that back up.
right.
So you're technically not having to put as much force, and it doesn't cause the rod to roll over, and that will then cause less strain on your wrists when you're having those big fish on, and it keeps you without having to really hurt yourself or strain yourself as much for pulling those bigger fish in. So
Yeah,
that's why that's a really good saltwater rod.
absolutely. That is the main reason to have spiral guides. The other reason they claim is that you'll get further casting distance, and I can't remember why that is, but in any case, that's what they
I think
claim.
it's less friction on the line. I think that's what it is. Through
Yeah,
the guides, it causes less friction because as it's starting to wrap through the weight, since like when you're
yeah,
casting,
yeah,
and then once you
yeah.
become this way, the line's dragging on those guides.
Yes, right.
So as those guides pretty much wrap back around, since they're in the opposite direction, they're almost floating through. So that's pretty much, I think, the reason why.
Makes sense. It does. It makes sense.
It
Cool.
does. All
All
right, let's.
right.
If you want to ask another question, yeah.
Mark Tomlinson from Mizzou. Right on. Okay, well, why don't we ask another question, and then we'll start looking at some of your baits
Yeah.
there.
Sounds good.
Okay, this I'm gonna ask some questions about mostly about fishing, what's going on in the tournament world, and then I'm also going to do a couple of name that lures if we have time. We'll just see if we have time for that or not. All right. Okay, this is something we talked about in our Get Your Fish On, and you can see I got the Get Your Fish On template up here that Steve made for the channel. Let's see, which one do I want to do here? I was gonna, yeah, let's do this. Last Wednesday on the Get Your Fish On and Mr. Bass show, we talked about some tournament information. And one of the things that we talked about was that one of the leagues actually canceled their championship. Which league was it that canceled their championship? That should be pretty easy for several of you. Booster got it first. NPFL flushed the championship, and we talked about how crazy that was. Not only at the very last minute, like literally 1 or 2 days before the tournament, did they cancel it. They had these guys that were expecting to get paid, guaranteed payouts on that tournament, and got pulled out from underneath them. So kind of crazy.
Dang.
As the guy said, though, they are still planning on having a series next year. They've already got their schedule out for 2022. So that's pretty wild. All right,
But
Booster.
then
Go ahead.
But then they won't have the tournament though. I mean the main championship
Well, I don't
tournament or
know.
whatever it is.
I don't know what they're doing next year. Do you know, Booster? Are they doing a championship next year? They canceled this year's championship. Literally a couple of days before the tournament, they canceled. They canceled it, and yeah, it was pretty crazy.
You know how
Right.
much people probably prepared for that?
Oh, yeah, heck yeah, guys have
That's
been
gotta be
practicing.
like a gut blown.
So Booster's saying they don't have one scheduled for 2022 yet, but they do have a schedule out for the season, just no championship. So kind of crazy.
That
All right,
stinks, man.
I put your ticket, Booster, in the tumbler. So let me get in the screen here. We'll see what Booster. See if Booster's got lucky tonight. Booster struck out last week, I think. Did you strike out last week, Booster? Oh, he's safe.
Ooh.
He's got something. No whammies, no whammies. All right, Booster. You're a winner. Yeah, he did strike out last week, so. All right.
Hey,
I
made up for it.
I knew he got knocked down, but he was not knocked out. He wants miscellaneous. The old miscellaneous bucket. Okay. How about the 13 Fishing Trash Panda? Hey, this is one I showed you guys. This is one I showed you guys in the unboxing the other night. That's it. This came out of the Major League Fishing Champions Club box, I think. Rusty Brim is the color. How about that, Booster?
Nice color.
All right. Let me get him written in here as the winner. I have not really fished with the Trash Panda. Is it any good? You ever tried it?
Nah, but I have actually a couple people that like them a lot. A lot of people I know that I actually friends with from over here in Jersey, they use them a lot because a lot of the stores here they have a lot of 13 fish and stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I guess it's probably what they go and get to the store because a lot of guys they don't order too much stuff online. Mainly the
Hmm.
guys that I know of that fish mainly conventional gear and not like swim baits or anything like that. But they mainly buy stuff like that from the stores, Dick's and stuff like that, local wise. It's like they don't even believe in buying stuff online. It's pretty weird, actually.
Hmm.
And but it's weird that the small tackle shops that are around here, they don't make it really. They just either they'll be open for like 3, 4 years and then they just vanish.
Wow.
There's very limited amount of small tackle shops, and the ones that are usually are like saltwater tackle shops, and it's kind of weird. But usually back in the day, you used to see a couple of freshwater, tackle shops around and stuff like that. But now you don't see that anymore.
Yeah, we've got.
So
I'm going to change this up and see if I can make us a little bigger so we can see your baits better. All right, we'll see. We'll see how that looks. You still look like you're in pretty good focus. I'm gonna zoom me out a little so I don't look super close.
yeah, it looks pretty good.
All right, so tonight Matthew is going to show us some of his swim baits, glide baits, and we'll talk about them. And if any of you guys have questions about them or anything, put them up
Yep.
on. Put your question up on the screen, and we'll give him a chance to answer it. So go for
Alrighty.
it, Matthew. What you got?
Alrighty. First, I'll show you since I got a couple of these like in pretty much pairs, pretty much that these are the Beebs swim baits that I got. They're pretty much crank downs slash wakes, but they're mainly a crank down. Um,
Okay,
so let me
so
get,
let's explain what a crank down is because I think some of these things that seem pretty obvious to us may not be
yeah.
to others.
Well, a crank down is actually a type of bait that pretty much has a lip or any type of bill, pretty much.
Yeah,
They
so
can range from two.
that bill kind
Yeah,
of
go
looks like
ahead.
a wake bait, right?
Yeah, it looks like a wake bait in a sort of a sense, but if you look at it from the side, they'll have more of an angled bill instead of being straight, like pretty much like that,
Yeah, yeah.
which is what a wake would technically be. But and I'll show you guys those in a minute. And but these mainly have more of an angle, so these will get you to about like 3 feet. If you really want to risk and go really light line, you could probably get a little deeper, but mainly you want to use somewhat thick line, but not too thick. Obviously, probably 17 to 20 pound would actually be pretty good on these. They only
Yeah.
weigh about 3 ounces. It really, but they don't feel like 3 ounces. It's pretty weird. They're pretty light and they're not really big. They're if I take my hand and show you guys, it's
Yeah.
pretty small. And a lot of guys like these. This is actually a bait that's made in Massachusetts. It's the guy's where these guys from. These are the OG versions. He doesn't make these anymore. He makes a newer version that looks more refined. Um, so it's a little different. But like I was going at with the crankdown wise, is that you'll pretty much use them as like a crankbait. Pretty much is pretty much how the name is pretty much came onto. But it's pretty much a crankbait in just a swim bait form. But
Right.
you'll
Right.
use it as just like that as a crankbait. Straight retrieve it. You can
Mm-hmm.
then twitch it and it'll get it to pop to the side.
Right.
And it pretty much looks like a fish swimming, like a little bluegill swimming. And that's why I like these a lot. And they have a really good action on them. They actually have like a square bill action to them, but they hunt in a
Mm-hmm.
way. So they're pretty
A
good, and
lot of
they
crank
actually
downs.
evade cover.
A lot of crank downs do have very similar action as to regular crankbaits.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
most downs too, if you reel them slow enough, will wake. Uh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. if you just take this and just go real slow, or barely go above medium speed, it'll just stay on the surface, and that tail will just wag on top. Almost look like a little fish is just float on top of the water, just like pretty much swimming. And that pretty much creates an easy target, and that's really good for when you got in the spring or in the fall, when a couple months ago would have been really good for that. But right now, mainly what I would use this for, which is why I got it recently, is to crank it down. And I've had really good luck with orange baits or orange colored crankbaits, so I was like, you know what, let me just try something a little bigger and maybe get a little bigger of a bite.
So how long are those? About 5 inches, something like that?
Actually, hold on. Let me.
You
I'll
said
get
they're
a measuring tape right here.
you said they're 3 ounces, right?
Yes, 3 ounces. It's about 6 inches.
Okay, including the
With
tail.
with the tail.
Yeah.
Yep, with the tail included.
Um,
So 5 inches without the tail.
right on. Cool. All right. What do those run?
These right here I actually got for pretty cheap. It was these one I got for 75, and then the other one I got for $90. They're pretty much second-hand retail. I didn't get it from the guy himself, but from him himself, the new ones, I think they're 110.
All right. So $110. So he says, I got them for cheap, $75. Still probably sounds like a fortune for some of you out there.
Yeah.
But when you get into this swim bait, glide bait world, man, the prices just get crazy. And if you're not willing
They can.
to spend some big money, the other thing you mentioned, when you fish it with a 17 to 20 pound line, there's a lot of reasons, obviously, for fishing swim baits with heavier line, but probably the most important reason is just so you don't lose the bait.
Yeah.
Because these things are so darn expensive, you throw that on a 10-pound test line, you might have nicer action. You can go deeper, like you said. You can crank it deeper, but
Yeah.
is it really
Yep.
worth losing a $110 bait just so you can get it a little deeper? So
Exactly. And
the other thing,
some guys will do it. The bait
yeah,
makers, you see them, they'll do it. The bait
yeah,
makers are the ones that really do that the most.
yeah, absolutely,
They'll risk doing some crazy stuff with the baits. But me, something like me, where I'm not willing to lose, three $200 baits. I'm not willing to do that.
yeah. I don't
You
blame you.
know,
I don't blame
and
you.
I don't have a boat, so I can't get the bait too. It's harder to get to.
Right. So the other thing I wanted to mention, guys, is if you're just getting in or thinking about getting into swim baits, you never tried it before, go with one of these lighter baits, 2 ounces, three
Yeah,
ounces. Uh, that way you don't have to buy a bunch of extra equipment, especially if you've already got a flipping rod or a frog rod or any kind of a heavy rod out there that you're using for other techniques. Then you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of super expensive equipment until you know whether you really want to get into the swim baits or not. And then if you decide you want to get serious about it, then you can go buy some swim bait rod.
all right. And then uh,
Oh,
Nathan
Texas,
said, "Do
huh?
I ever use shock leader?" Yeah, that's pretty much what I use. Pretty much by putting the co-poly to the braid leader. Pretty much, I
Mm-hmm.
use braid to leader line. I don't throw straight braid because that tends to just pop right off if you throw too big of it, like bait. I've done that multiple times
Yeah, I have too.
with other baits until I realized that's what it was, and it was just the braid. As soon as you whipped it back and went, it would just literally cut the braid. It was like you were cutting it. I
Yeah,
thought the guy had cut on was messed up, but then I was like, no, there's nothing wrong with the guide. And then I realized it was the amount of weight and the force, just literally making that
absolutely.
braid snap. So
Um,
I just use pretty much that braid to leader all the time for all my setups, and it works fine, and I've never had any issue. But the one line I do recommend to use though is a sinking braid, not a floating braid, unless you want to use wake baits or anything like that. But if you can find a sinking braid, which is Smackdown is a sinking braid, and by Seaguard, and also a couple others. I think there is Samurai from Daiwa Sinks,
So
and
have you had any
some
problem?
other one.
Have you had any problems with the Smackdown? Because I've heard a lot of people complain about Smackdown breaking on them. You haven't had any problems with it
Hmm.
breaking on you?
No, that's weird.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of comments about Smackdown, especially I think it's the gray Smackdown. What color do you use?
Hmm. I use the neon green.
Okay, that might be okay. I think it's just the gray that
Interesting.
breaks a
There might
lot.
have been a defect on that color or something,
Yeah. All right,
because that does happen.
Christopher wants to know how heavy of a braid do you use for your swim baits?
Oh, well, I use all my reels. I put 40 to 50 pound braid on it.
40 to 50 pound braid. I don't throw
Yep.
braid. I pretty much 25 pound fluorocarbon is what I use, and I usually throw Seagar Invisex
Yeah.
is usually what I'm throwing. 25 pound.
Yeah, that it's pretty much like I said, it's pretty much like your preference. It both of those are a good option. If you like floral, straight floral, hey, more power to you. It's good. It'll still work. And it's just that, like I said, it's really more just a preference. I just have the braid and to the floral mainly just for castability and line. What's it called? I can't think of the word. To have more line on the spool, pretty much. So instead of just being put, if you put 20 pound fluoro on a reel that says it's only meant for 120 yards
All right,
uh,
right.
of of that type of line, it's only going to fit that much. It's going to start
Yes,
to deduct a
right.
lot more. So by putting the braid on the reel, you pretty much get the same amount of diameter with a 40 pound to 50 pound
Hmm.
braid as like 12 to 10 pound fluoro, or I think it's
Yes.
mono, one of those. So then you get more line on the reel itself. So you could probably fit almost 200 yards versus 100 and something.
Yeah.
And
You
you
are
have more line on that reel, so your line per turn doesn't change.
absolutely. You
So,
make a very good point. If casting distance is really important to you and you want to be able to throw that bait farther, braid is going to give you more distance just because the diameter of the braid's so much smaller than fluorocarbon.
yep.
So there's no doubt about that. And most good swim bait fishermen will tell you you want to be as far away as you can. Distance is your friend.
Yeah.
Because this is a sight technique. This is a clear water sight technique. You're trying to react. You're trying to get a strike based completely on visibility, and since you're generally
Yeah.
speaking fishing in clear water, the farther you can be away from the lure, the better. All right, Matt A wants
Yep.
to know what your thoughts are on the Savage Gear 8-inch 4D Pulse. I wonder if I've got one
Is
of those.
that's the soft bait, right?
I don't know. To
That's
tell you
the
the
pretty
truth.
much, it's pretty much like the Huddleston type
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
version of a Savage Gear.
So for somebody starting out, you think that's a good bait to start with?
Yeah, I mean, Tactical Bastion recommends it all the time, so I'm sure they wouldn't recommend, something that they don't
Hmm.
use. And I've seen them use it multiple times, but
Uh,
it works.
Huddleston's a great beginner bait too. To tell you the truth, they're
Yeah, that's what
super
I would actually
durable.
go with if I was to be honest.
I probably would too. They're super durable. They're really not very expensive in the whole scheme of things. They're cheap, and
They're actually pretty good, yeah.
yeah, I mean,
The only ones
they're
that become expensive is if like you wanted to buy ones like that are the OG ones or old colors that discontinued or the ones that are like limited. Those are the ones that will cost you, a decent amount, but
yep for
I wouldn't
sure.
even worry about that. The regular ones catch fish just as good.
Right. Okay, let's do another question. Uh,
Yeah.
all right, we already talked about the fact that the NPFL canceled their championship season. Let's talk about kayak fishing. Who just won the Hobie Tournament of Champions? Getting on to going from bass boats to kayak fishing. Who just won the Hobie Tournament of Champions? What was that fisher person's name?
It's a female, I know that.
Nathan got it. Fisher, Christine Fisher won the Tournament of Champions. She won down on Lake Eufaula, and she won $35,000, which is a pretty big payout for kayak tournaments.
Yeah.
So
it's a pretty good chunk of change.
Yeah, Drew Gregory did not pull it off, Dave. He won last year, though, I think. I think he was the Tournament of Champions winner last year. If not, he was, maybe it was the BASS. Either way, Drew Gregory wins a lot of tournaments for sure. So, Illuminathan, he's got it. He got it. So let's spin for Nathan. Oh, I better do this. I'll get the ticket ready and then we'll spin. I love that kayak fishing. It's a blast.
Yeah. I think if it will grow over time, and I think it will become to the point where if they can cover it or media cover it more to where the point where it's like bass boat fishing, it will become pretty popular because it's pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, there's a lot of other people about that are starting to fish it. Like this little lake that I went and fished in today. Me and my buddy Dean went in our kayaks. It's only a 100-acre lake, and the water's cold now. And there still was probably there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there was 6 other kayaks out there on that lake, and about 3 boats. So that's pretty fun. I mean, it's just getting more and more popular. More people are buying kayaks out there. So
yeah, I have my lake that I actually go to. A lot of guys go into kayak and they stay in there for a long time because of the trout that they stock in there. So I see guys in there, man, even when they're not supposed to be in there because what they do is they have like a little fence pretty much to keep boaters or anybody from driving up to where you load your boat or dock or pretty much kayak at. And then there's a little sort of like a little channel that goes from that actual area all the way back around and then to the actual lake. And people will drop their kayak there, kayak all the way through and then go back to that main lake. And sometimes I've seen guys in there in December, January.
They're beating the system. Damn. Beating the system.
Yeah.
You're right, Mad Swimbaiter. Christine Fisher's top notch, and she is a great role model. She's really, she's amazing. What she's pulling off right now.
She's a good person, man.
Yeah. All right, let's zoom out. Well, that's the most I can zoom out. So, gotta move my.
And you know, she makes good videos too. That's what I like watching about her.
She does.
You know,
she does.
She doesn't really.
Her videos too.
She doesn't put any, fancy stuff into it. It's mainly just her fishing and, the mistakes she makes and everything,
Yeah, yeah. Whoa, Nathan. Dang, buddy. Nathan struck out. But you got your name in the tumbler. And who knows, you might win.
And you get to try again, at least.
You might win again tonight.
He will.
Mr. Bass spin to win game is brutal sometimes. Ray Pod calls that the whammy. All right. Let's see your next one, Matthew.
Right. Yeah. Next bait is the Sneaky Rat. It's a wooden rat. It's pretty much made from the Sneaky Baits. But it's pretty much a small, it's not small, completely small, but it's a about 4 or 5 inches, the body itself, and another like 5, 6 inches, so probably like 8, 9 inches total. But it's actually not that big. It's about 3 ounces, the actual total weight of it, and the actual whole bait is meant for just waking mainly. But what actually it actually is a cranks down actually, because this bait actually does more than other two-piece rats. My other two-piece rats that I have, that like this one right here, the elude gas rat.
Uh-huh.
This one here does not crank down that well. It mainly is meant for like slow waking and maybe get subsurface a little bit, but once you go past um, a medium speed, it wants to roll sideways on itself. So that this one here, the pretty much sneaky rat, has a really different type of build. It's more shorter, but it's still as wide.
Yeah,
So
it
what
looks
that
really
does is it
wide.
allows the bait to go pretty quickly, but it won't blow out. It causes it to stay true and still manage to stay pretty much stable as it can be. You can pretty much burn it and it still stays straight. So
All
it's
right,
pretty
so when you
sick.
say
And
burn it, you said it's a crank down. So you crank it down and then burn it, or what?
well, this actually is actually a weight, but
It
it's
does
you
look
can crank it down, which is what you're not, most other type of two-piece rats are not meant to really
right.
do. And so that's why I got these here that are this one here that's a three pieces or more of a crank down. And if you look at the lip, they're not coffin style type
Yeah.
lips, they're more of a square bill type lip.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the square bill lip, instead of having that coffin type style, would have the bait go down a little bit more without having to kind of like blow out. And but with this even having that coffin bill, it manages to where even as a wake you can burn it and it'll crank down to where about a foot to a foot and a half or a little bit more if you cast it far, and it'll go down there and it won't blow out. It'll just go completely straight. So
Can
it's
you
pretty
uh can
sick.
you can you troll with that?
I don't think you could possibly go that fast, but it probably could go pretty quick to the point where it wouldn't blow out. If you're going slow enough on like maybe a kayak, maybe,
Yeah, yeah.
but I wouldn't do that. But
So
that's
what
I mainly got it for cover.
what's that? What's the rat called again?
Sneaky rat.
And
The reason why I also got this for the another reason is because the guy I messaged him, and he's not making them at the moment for like a year. So because he had a list, and then the list got so long to the point where he now, it's kind of hard to manage that. Where you have so many guys hitting you up, probably like hundreds, 200 people hitting you up. Hey, can I get a rat? Hey, can I get a rat? And so that adds up quick, And
yep, for
these
sure.
guys, on top of what they're doing and making these baits, they're they have a job. They're not always all making baits 24/7.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's not that easy. So it takes time, and usually, like he said, it was going to take probably another year for people to probably be able to get his rat. So I was like, dang. So then I saw an old guy getting rid of it for a decent price that I was willing to pay, and was way cheaper than anything I've ever seen anyone else paying for. It actually sounded too good to be true. So I thought he was trying to scam me. So
uh,
so then I ended up, being a little sketched out, but then he came through and sent it, and it got here really quickly. Like I said, I was happy as heck because, like I said, this bait will be worth just like the elude gerbil and the all elude wood baits that are right now. They're worth from a range from like 700 to $1,000. So, and I paid nowhere even close to that. So, which is why, like I said, some of these baits can be an investment if you're willing to sell them like that. But
yeah.
I mainly buy these baits to use them.
Right.
So, but some guys, they make thousands of dollars selling baits if they're willing to be on point on the drops and get the baits for actual retail and stuff like that. Like say one bait, for example, Piz. Some guys, they buy those baits just to buy them and sell them secondhand retail. And some of those Piz baits range from some guys paying 900 if that's what they usually go for, like if you want to just sell it to the guy, or if you have some sort of raffle, or they call them waffles, uh, Instagram sort of thing going on,
Yeah.
you can make
Yeah.
$1,000 to $2,000. Who knows? I saw a guy do that a couple months ago. He made $2,000 off, I think, 2 baits or something like that, and I was like, Jesus
Wow.
Christ.
That is crazy.
So
So what about the one hook rats? What do you think of those?
yeah, that I saw Nathan mentioning those the other day, and actually, they're pretty good. The Stray Rats makes one, the Rumble Rat. Rago Baits makes one, which is like I think it's like the Peanut Mouse or Mouse, and then also Pat's, which is a very hard bait to get, but he makes the Pat's Squirrel in a one hook as well, and that is a really good bait. Guys swear by them, and they're worth a crap ton. And so, but they're all good baits. The ones that have the one hook, they're mainly meant for using near weeds and grass, because the one hook tends not to get snagged up as much as the two hook ones. So you can usually bring it above little patches of grass or area that the grass is pretty tall, but it'll stay just above it, and usually the grass will just kind of like comb through that one hook, and you will be good. As long as it's green, you'll be good.
Awesome. All right,
So
let's take a look at another one.
yeah, the other bait I got that is pretty recent is the Pats. Just talking about Pats, that's why I was actually mentioning them. And so the Pats regular waking crank, pretty much. It's a pretty much crank down is what it is, but it's a pretty nice bait.
Wooden.
Very hard to get. Really the only way to get them is by tourneys. You can't really buy them from him directly unless you really know him. So it's kind of hard. This bait I really got lucky on as well. The guy was willing to give it to me since I don't have one. So it was pretty cool of him to do that. He could have made way more money than what he did off of it, so it was really cool of him. And that's what you really look for, like guys that are willing to do that, or you find some of those guys that do that. And it's pretty much in a rainbow trout pattern. And this one I don't think is wood; it's a composite material. Uh, the OG ones are made out of wood, but this one is made out of a composite, which is almost the same thing that our buoys are made out of, which are very like strong, indestructible type material. So they'll last for a really long time, and you can catch hundreds and hundreds of fish on them, and they won't get messed up. They'll just get rash on them. And then once you get that, if you really don't like that, you can then get it pretty much repainted or whatever you want.
What do you think about smaller wooden rats, 1/2 to 3/4 ounces? I was trying to think of a wooden rat that's that light. I've never heard of one
Yeah, I
that be
don't.
that.
Yeah, that'd be. I don't even know if there is any like that.
Maybe
The
you could
lightest
go.
wood rat I know of is the gerbil, and which is the elude
Yeah,
gerbil, and then this other guy that makes um one, but that's really hard to get to. That's from Swimbait Universe. But I think they're both 2 ounces or almost 3 ounces, but they're like 2.5 to that
yeah.
3 ounce range. But that's really, I think, the smallest rats you're gonna find besides in like a wood style type
Yeah,
bait.
I think you're right. Even the plastic kind, like the Spro rats and stuff like that, are heavier than 3/4 of an ounce.
Yeah. The only one I know that's extremely light is the Clay Baits. What's it called? Muskrat, I think it is.
Yeah, kind of like
Yeah.
the vole. The vole
The
looks the
water bowl is
same.
a little bigger.
The
Yeah.
water vole's a little bigger. Got my little screen down there, but this water vole is 1 ounce. So this is kind of a rat replacement, John. You might want to think about if you go look at Clayton Baits.
Yep.
This is the
They're
company.
good.
This is the company right here. They make several wake baits that are similar to
The
this.
big possum is a really good one, man.
Yeah. But that's only 1 ounce. I don't know if it's
Yep.
wood though. Is it?
No. That's resin.
Yeah, it's resin. But it's still a really good wake bait rat. It's just a rat. They call it a vole, but it's a rat in my mind. Whatever
Yeah, a
you
vole
want to call it.
actually is a mouse. It's a sort of I think it's like a sort of ground mouse that is weird, but they're pretty
Yeah,
cute.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
like someone was saying, they said it looks like a slammer. It's actually not even close to being a slammer. The slammer, you can't weight them down unless you get them in the crank version or the countdown version, which will sink like a rock and pretty much in a way. And those you can only crank to a certain point. These have more of a swim action, almost like a multi-jointed swim bait.
Mm-hmm.
So it will have a very fluid swim, and MS slammers usually aren't that well cranked down because of the wood they're made out of. Um, it causes the buoyancy. They're pretty much very buoyant. So when you're cranking them down, they tend to want to blow out if you go past a certain speed. But they are great weight baits, the slammers. Not knocking that off. They're very great baits, and tons of guys use them and swear by them. And they catch tons of fish as well. And it even was on the Southern Trouter DVD swim bait video. So I'm pretty sure they wouldn't, lie to you if one of the biggest like underground swim
No
bait
doubt.
videos that there is or
For
DVDs.
sure. For sure. All right, let's do another question here. All right. I probably should have looked at these before I said let's do another question. But all right, here's one. The reel, the 13 Fishing Inception Sport Z reel that we're going to be giving away when the Mr. Bass channel hits 7,500 subscribers. You can buy this right now as part of Carl's Bait and Tackle's Christmas sale. What I want to know is, this is a $150 reel normally. If you're a Carl's Club member, what can you get this for on the Carl's Club sale right now? $150 awesome reel. This is what the reel looks like in real life if you want to see it. What can you get it for? Boy, that was fast. You dudes, you guys were lightning fast on that. How'd you guys know that fast? I know I didn't tell anybody ahead of time I was asking that question. But $72, it's a $150 reel, and you can buy this at Carl's Club right now. Carl's Bait and Tackle. If you're a Carl's Club member, $72. Even if you're not a Carl's Club member, I think you can get it for $90 right now. That's a deal.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. That is a real deal. John Smith does it again. Boy, you're not kidding. I don't know how. It's almost like the dude's reading my mind. I better kind of what do they call that? Where you kind of scan the house, check for bugs. Maybe John's got the place bugged, and I don't know about it. That was crazy. That was like lightning fast.
He's got the scoop.
He does, man. He just there's something about that guy, man. John Smith is a winner.
That internet must be that fast, man. I don't know. It's crazy.
All right, here's your ticket, John. And John's a Canadian, so he gets another $5 gift card, which I got. I think I owe him like $500 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
30
7.
cards.
I'm showing 8 cards I owe him right now. Is that right, John? Do I owe you 8 now? That's $40.
Soon he's gonna be able to buy a boat.
Yeah. Yeah, David, you're right. I'm gonna have to start wearing a tinfoil hat to try to break up the brain waves or something, so that he can't read my mind.
Yeah,
uh,
that was kind of crazy.
all right, cool. Congratulations, John. Good job. Amazing how fast on the trigger you were there, buddy. All right, let me put you up on this big screen here, Matthew. What's
Yeah.
next?
Yeah. The next one is the HPH from High Power Herring.
Dang, that one looks sweet. Is that the dude that does the raffles as well?
Uh, I'm not sure if he does the
Uh,
raffles.
who has been sending me the raffle information? This guy does every week at least on Facebook. He does a ton of soft plastics, but he throws in swim baits and stuff too. Yeah, the
No.
little B. He's
But
probably
I do
logging
know
into my
I do
computer.
know a lot of raffle swim bait guys that I've seen on Instagram. I follow a couple of them, and but mainly most of them are sound like pizzas and other psycho gills and all that stuff. But these you have to get on a wait list from the guy himself, and he sells these like pretty much you have to wait about a year to get them. But they're a really good bait. The glide on them is way different than a lot of other baits. It's not going to be like a crazy, crazy swim as you're reeling. If you want to reel straight, that's not what this bait is meant for, really, because all it's going to do is just go like that,
Yeah,
like real tight, not
yeah,
really at all wide. But if you go and give it a real bumps where you go like that to a real long, pretty much crank, it'll cause the bait to go out really, really wide and probably go about 2 feet. I've tested it and got it snagged,
yeah.
but I got it back
So,
out. And
so now you're getting into a little more advanced swim bait fishing techniques, especially with glide baits. There's so many ways that
yeah,
you can vary your retrieve with your reel that will make the bait do different things, and
yeah.
that will really increase your hookup ratio if you learn how to do some of that stuff.
Yeah, it pretty much, like I said, once you start messing with them, and like I said, the different baits you start messing with, you'll realize the different ways you reel them affect the bait, like drastically. Because there were some baits where I was like, what the hell's going on? The bait's not even moving right, or
Yeah,
it just
yeah,
wouldn't work right because I was using the rod tip and not the reel, and it wasn't working right. And then as soon as I started switching to the reel, it would start working right, and I'm like, oh, that's what you need to do. And so that's how I just pretty much caught on to that. And this one was the same thing. I thought, you had to use the rod tip. 'Cause I've seen some people using the rod tip, but wasn't many of them. But then I ended up realizing that I got more out of the bait when I started cranking it, giving it more far,
yeah,
almost full, like real bumps to the point, and it would just get this bait out really, really wide. And
yeah,
that's what made it look like killer.
yeah,
And that's what I think was the good thing about that bait. And it glided pretty far or wide for its size. It's only an 8-inch bait, which,
that,
sounds like it's, huge, but it's really not.
that bait reminds me of the Doom Rider. Uh,
It pretty much almost is in a way, the way it glides. Yeah.
Ray wants to know. Ray wants to know who makes that bait and what it's called again.
That's high power herring. Makes that bait.
And what's the bait called?
That one is called the HPH, 8-inch
The
shad
eight
glide
inch. The eight
or
inch
gizzard glide, pretty
H.
much.
The 8-inch gizzard glide by high powered herring. So this is what the Doom Rider looks like, guys. If you were wondering, just kind of what I was saying reminds me of it. You can see it looks. It's small. This is smaller. This thing's only 6 or 7 inches, if I remember right. But uh,
Yeah,
it's not 8 inches.
7 inches.
But it's still. This sucker looks so
Still a nice
realistic.
size though.
It is. It's a great size in my mind,
It
uh,
is, man.
and it's beautiful.
And I love that bait. That's the one I got snagged. You know, like a couple weeks ago, a guy had to help me get it out. Old guy.
Yeah.
And man, I like it. I actually started using it more than my Clash because I really was trying to get more of that, wide glide that I
Yeah.
wanted, and that bait does it, man.
Yeah.
It does
It's
it,
pretty sweet, isn't it?
and it just looks realistic to me. It literally looks like a actual fish in your hand. So
Okay, Booster. I had no idea you were in good with Randall over at HPH. So what am I gonna have to do to get an HPH lure? If you got an inside track, dude, how can I bribe you? Uh, what 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 do you want? What do you want, Booster?
And he makes a couple other baits too that are really nice too. He makes a swimming one, which is pretty hard to get. I think there's only like 3 or 4 of them in the like country. But he makes a multi-jointed one that's like a multi-swim bait, and another one. He also makes different sizes of that one too. He makes a 6-inch, the 8-inch is the one that a lot of people have, and then the 9-inch one is the one that's extremely rare, and he hasn't made since like 2000, I think, like 5 or 4 or something around that time. And they haven't been made for a long time, but those ones go for a big chunk of change on like secondhand, and that's the one that mainly the guys are looking for. And they'll trade like Pat's baits and stuff like that for it. And like I said, they're worth like $900, $1,000.
Yeah.
The
Uh,
9-inch
okay,
ones.
Booster. I think Jan's got the right idea here, buddy. Wink, wink. Let me see what I can make this wheel land on next time for you. If you if you
He
can
just
connect
wins
me,
now
if
from.
you connect me with the high powered herring. Whee! All right, what you got next, Matthew?
I have I'll show a couple pretty quick too. And this one here is the short cake I got. It's a Legacy Lures, that same guy that makes the donuts. This is that small version of the ones he has. Let me take
It's
the
called the
flip
shortcake.
covers off. Yeah, it's a smaller version of the donut. Let me get the donut. I actually have it right here. And so this is the donut. Ow. And so this is the donut, and then this is the shortcake. So it's a little smaller in body wise, but it's hard to do.
uh,
And so, like I said, it's pretty good size, and it's not as big as the donut, and it's a good snack size to me. And I have the little traces on top,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
pretty much and also a little weight on the bottom because it's a wood bait. And what I noticed is that it tends to, and what's pretty crazy about this is that the wood baits that tend to notice that they knock ridiculously hard, and they make way more noise than the resin baits. The wood rat that I got, uh, you can hear it all the way as far as you cast it knocking, which is pretty nuts. And you can literally hear it going, and it's pretty nuts. And I was like, wow. I was like, if you can hear it all the way over here, imagine with the fish here. So I was like, no wonder why some guys go crazy over getting the wood built ones over the resin ones when they fish in places that are pretty deep, or the water's maybe like 15, 20 feet deep, and they're trying to call those fish up to that bait or whatever it is that they're near. And that's where that wood gets that advantage from. But this, you even be surprised, this little guy, you hear the as it's gliding in the water, the little knock it creates, and
Uh-huh.
it's pretty sick. And but like I said, it has a really good glide to it. It's pretty nice, and it has a little S glide to it. And as you jerk, it'll go and glide on itself, and it's really nice. It only weighs, I think, like 2 ounces. I'm pretty sure it's 2 ounces, and it's pretty light. It's got some little thickness to it. It's not thin, too thin,
Yeah.
but it's got some thickness to it, and
Yeah.
it's a really good bait.
Yeah, so that's called the shortcake. And in case you guys didn't hear, The company that makes the shortcake is called Legrady Lures.
Yep.
Legrady. Legrady.
You can find them on Instagram and on Facebook.
Yep. Yep. Again, probably a hard one to get, though, isn't it?
At the moment, there's a wait list for them. I actually got another one on the way from a guy I found on secondhand. That's really the best way to get them at the moment is secondhand. Try find them. What's it called? Let me fix my glasses. They're all bent up. And fix the. You can get them on secondhand retail for pretty good price, and pretty much close to retail. You would be surprised because most of the ones I've either got for retail, like the donut and the other donut I got too as well. I only paid like 15 bucks above retail, which isn't bad when you're thinking about it.
Yeah,
Damn,
that's
man.
amazing. That's amazing. Hey, thanks to Little B. Appreciate it. Everybody hit the like button. Have a happy Thanksgiving to Little B. Sorry to see you go. But yeah, they look like great baits. I've never tried a Legrady bait, but it's on my want list for sure.
Yeah, Bateman's been trying to get some, so and he really you know likes a lot of swim baits, but he's pretty picky. So I was surprised that he said that. So I think he thinks they're pretty good too. So but like I said, I've used them and I like them a lot.
Heck yeah.
But like I said, I noticed that when you use wood glide baits, they tend to have not a perfect swim to them. Like they're
Right.
not going to be like your plastic, uh, pretty much or resin type bait. It's going to have its
Yes.
natural buoyancy to it.
Yeah.
So as you're pretty much moving it, it's going to wobble here and there when you glide, and that gives it honestly a little bit more of a natural look in a way. And but it's
Well,
not going to be the most perfect thing you're going to get. And so that's
yeah,
why sometimes guys are like,
every piece of wood,
yeah,
comes from a different tree, and so they're never going to be exactly alike.
yeah.
So that's kind of
And even the resin baits, they're not even all like, and or all the exact same.
for
And
sure.
so when you get these wood baits, they're all different. Like this pretty much wood donut is different than my other one. It's in totally size and weight and everything. Weighed
Hmm.
both of them, and this one was heavier and it actually has a bigger profile and thicker. So I was like, see, I was like, it's not even the same. So in a way that it's like every single one you get is pretty much pretty much one you're getting. So
Cool. All right.
yep.
All right. Let's do another question here. All right, I'm going to do a name that lure. Name that lure. This is one that I showed you this week as part of one of the unboxings. So, what is this lure called? And it's this one right here. What is this thing called? First one to answer correctly gets to spin to win. What do you call this? Brain fart.
I forgot about that one.
You guys are right. You're kind of dancing around it. You got the right company.
Yeah, that's all I remember.
Backlasher. You got
You
it.
got it.
It's called the Gem Blade. So kind of a unique spinnerbait for sure, but it's called the Gem Blade from Jewel Baits. So congratulations, Backlasher. You get to spin to win. Let me make you a ticket real quick for the real giveaway. Oops, I started to write the name of the bait on here. It's not the Gem Blade, it's the Backlasher. All right, dude. Put that in here, and then we will let you spin to win. Are you ready? Ready, Backlasher? You guys can see that. Good. Okay.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Woo!
Oh.
So close. You almost got the JDM giveaway from Matt A. All right. You do win a lure out of the Mr. Bass buckets, Backlasher. So just tell me in the screen there, what do you want? Soft plastic, hard bait, or something out of the miscellaneous bucket?
Nathan asked me if I had any KGB lures, and I don't have any. I've been looking at them and, seen a lot of guys that have them and love them. But the one bit I do want to get from him is the Benson, which is his multi-jointed one, and that one is sweet. But that's actually one of the only like multi-jointed big baits that I know that you can actually almost glide them. It's pretty sweet. And also use them as like a regular, pretty much swim bait, a multi-joint. But you can also glide them, which is pretty unique, I think, in a way.
That does sound unique. All right, Backlasher, you have won some soft jerk baits by the Bass Reaper. You guys remember where this came from? The 5-inch Morbid Minnow soft jerkbait in green pumpkin. This came out of either Dark Horse Tackle or Hendrix box. One of those. I don't remember which one. Pretty good looking jerkbait. Twin tail. Bass Reaper. They look like they make some pretty decent stuff. Yep, that's all that is a fancy fluke, Backlasher. So congratulations. And I will
Nathan also asked me if about the burrito baits. The Baka. That one I don't have because that's really meant for deep water fishing. They sink like a rock. So unless you're fishing them extremely fast from the bank, you're probably going to get them snagged. But if you're fishing off ledges or deep, pretty much areas, if you're on a kayak and things like that, they are known for catching some big fish, and they work really well. They're pretty easy to get now. They're all over. They're on Tackle Warehouse. You can get them on MGC Fishing, the burrito website sometimes when they have them, and but they're becoming more available. I wish he was like that with other baits that he had, but the Baka is a good bait, and they're really good overall. And I have the Nacho, which is a bluegill version of the burrito baits, and it's a really nice little small profile. It's pretty thin. It's not thick at all.
Yeah, yeah.
And
What's
it has
it
a
made
really
out
good
of?
hook on it, man. Silicone. This is silicone plastic, so they're a little bit more durable than the plastisol. They won't tear as easily, so they're pretty strong. They're not like super, super soft. And like I said, you can pull on them really, really hard, and Nothing really gets messed up. The skin is almost like it's like printed on in a way,
Uh-huh.
so it doesn't rub off. So that's really good about that.
Awesome.
And they're really good, man. And I want to get some more. I was about to get a lot of them, like a guy was selling like four of them in a lot, and wasn't that pricey. But then I realized there was so many new baits coming out, drops that are coming. The Stray Rats is dropping baits, the Piz is dropping baits, a whole bunch of people is dropping baits. So I was like, not gonna waste my money on everything, So I like to select certain lures and certain things that I want to get, a lot. So instead of just buying everything, it may seem like I buy everything, but trust me, there's people with a lot more than what I have.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, it's kind of like this bottomless pit, man. You can just keep buying and buying and buying and buying.
Yeah. Yeah, there's guys that I see that sometimes they're on Swimbait Underground, they're getting rid of 15, 10 lures at a time, and then they're like, oh yeah, I got more, I got plenty more. And then, or you'll see a picture of them selling 4 or 5 baits in their hand, or a post, but in the background you see a shelf of like 100 baits. And you're
Yeah.
like, dude, how do you even fish? Like, what do you pick?
Yeah.
And so,
Right.
so at that,
I think
and
it's
that's why
kind of
sometimes I'm,
I think
yeah, go ahead.
it's kind of like the wiggle warts. Guys start buying them to fish with, and then they just start collecting them, and they get to a point where I think a lot of them they don't even fish, don't even plan on fishing.
Yeah.
They just fall in love with the lures and just want to collect them.
Well, like I said, a lot of the baits that I buy secondhand, some of the baits are a year, 3 years old, sometimes even more. And you buy them and they look brand new. And you're like, well, how long has this bait been in, someone's hands? Oh, 2, 3 years, and oh, there's not even a scratch on the bait,
Yeah,
so why did you even buy it?
yeah,
And the guys will be like, oh, I liked it, or whatever it was that, oh, I wanted to, have it and just be able to have a chance to throw it, but then they never got to the chance of throwing it. So, but that's what you want to do. If that's what you want to do, then spend your money on that. Hey, so be it. But I try to buy baits that I sooner or later I will throw, or if I get to it, I will throw it. But I don't have so much to the point where I will never be able to fish them for years,
yeah, for sure.
and that's why I've sort of been selling recently, a couple of baits here and there, but stuff that I know I'm probably not going to get to, or stuff that I probably won't get to because I like fishing other stuff, and I've done that, and even given baits to certain people that I am friends with on Facebook and stuff like that have helped me or whatever it was, and things like that. But it's really a circle that you pretty much go around, and if you want to stay with the certain baits that you throw, which some guys do, they'll buy 10, 15 baits or whatever it is, and then they realize I'm only using 3 or 4 out of these baits.
Yeah,
I'm barely throwing these other ones. Why have them? So they get rid of them. And that's pretty much like what I'm doing. I'll buy certain baits, try to test them out, see if I like them, if it works for me, or if I like the way it works, I'll buy more of them. But if I don't like it, or if I think I'm not going to use it, I'll probably just get rid of it and sell it for just like $10, $15 more than what it's worth, and just get back what I paid. I'm not trying to make, $300, $400 on a bait. You know what I mean?
yep.
I'm not that type of
Did you
person.
see? Did you see Fish in the Southeast message? He says he'll give you a deal on some of his 6-inch paddle tails. You can talk with him
Yeah,
about
I
that.
saw him talking about I was talking to him about the color shifting swim baits that they're pretty good if you know how to do them. There's a guy on Swimbait Underground who Swimbait Universe, who does color shifting swim baits, and they look amazing. They have
I'll
this
bet they do.
pearlescence pearl to them, and then with the inside, as you shift the bait, it turns to like this purple to almost pearl color, and
Huh?
they look really good, and I think it's really natural to me, because that's how shad have that pearlescent look to them,
Sure.
or bunker, whatever it is they're eating.
Awesome.
But these are the other two baits I got, which are from a guy I know on Instagram. He's a really cool guy. Um, really nice guy actually, and he's one of the fastest bait shippers I've ever seen. Like literally, when you buy the bait or buy his bait drops, the bait will be out within about 40 minutes of buying the damn bait.
Wow.
So it's insane. So, but he it's raw baits. He makes these, which are called the trashy wake. They're really good, really thick.
They are
So they have sort
thick.
of like that wade hog style type baits, but they also are a pretty much crank down. They have that angled bill, but
Uh-huh.
also can be awake, and they wake really well and are extremely loud if you do a walking style method. If you really walk it, it'll clank back and forth really
Uh-huh.
good.
Yep.
And it'll create this little tail wag that'll go back and forth. This one I actually just got this week. I've had this one for about 2 and 3 weeks uh, for now. And like I said, they swim extremely natural. I've tested the white one with the chartreuse bottom, and it swims really natural. You wouldn't think it would, but with being this wide of a joint on it, but it swims like extremely natural, and it has like a roll to it that gives it this almost like fish-like natural appearance, that it doesn't look like two pieces of blocks just hitting each other back and forth. It doesn't look like that. So that's why I liked it a lot. And there's only two of these were made, this one, and then this one there was only five, so they're very limited. But he does make, a couple at a time, not too far apart. So they they were about a month apart, so it wasn't like you were waiting a half a year or a year to get these baits. So that's another thing I like about him, is that he produces pretty quickly, um,
So
and he
Booster
makes
is
wood
asking
baits too.
Booster's asking a good question. They look like they'd be almost too thick. How are they at catching fish?
The guy who actually makes them has tons of catching photos with them, and a couple other guys have that bought them already caught multiple fish on them. I haven't been that lucky yet, and I haven't been fishing as much as I would like to actually, but with pretty much recently, and when I was using it about like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, it swam really really well. I'm surprised I didn't catch anything on it, but like I said, the guy himself who uses them, he catches a pretty good amount of fish on them, and a couple other guys who have bought the bait itself. It is a pretty new bait, but they still say it works really well.
All right, cool. All right, time for another
Yeah.
spin to win question here. All right, we talked about this last week over at Carl's Bait and Tackle. They got a heck of a Christmas sale going on. They've also got some items on there where they talk about the best baits the under $20, the best baits under $50. They've got an article over there right now called "The 16 Best Fishing Gifts Under $50," and they've got one bait over there that has to do with grilling, like barbecue grilling. What what is that gift? What's the barbecue grilling gift over on Carl's Bait and Tackle in the
Hmm.
16 best fishing gifts under $50? You might say,
I
well,
don't even
how the
know
heck,
that.
how does grilling, Gill, Wild Gill,
I don't even know.
3030 got it. Now, how is an apron got anything to do with fishing? Well, I guess if you grill your fish on the grill, that might be it. Go catch your. I know Frank on here catches a ton of fish that he eats. He could maybe use a Carl's Bait and Tackle grilling apron. Uh, but Wild Gill 3030, dude, you are the winner. You get to spin to win
Nice.
because that's what they got over there. Um,
And Booster was asking what's his channel for the raw baits. I'm assuming the his channel, he doesn't have a channel. He has actually an Instagram, but he has tons of catch photos on his Instagram, which is where he posts these baits at, and that's raw baits uh,
how do you
on
spell that?
Instagram. Raw, RAW, and baits.
Okay. Raw baits. Okay, I am going to change the screen here so he can see the wheel.
Yeah.
Here we go. Wild Gill 30-30. Good luck, buddy. All right, another one. You're a winner. Let us know what pick your poison. What are you interested in, Wild Gill? You want a hard bait, something out of the miscellaneous bucket, or soft plastic lure? At least it wasn't John Smith. John Smith already won fishing the Southeast. Wild Gill wants something miscellaneous. All right. All right, here we go. The Divine 3.2-inch swim bait in Baby Sun Gill from 6 Cents Fishing. That's what it looks like. Wild Gill 30-30. Congratulations. You are a winner.
Can't go wrong with 6 cents.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. You got more to show us, Matthew, or what?
Yeah, I got a couple more.
Okay.
Just got
fanny pack to go with the apron, Frank. That's a good thought.
And the next one is the this I got actually I think it was yesterday. And so this is a legal dope trout, slap trout.
Oh man.
And it's a this is actually a wake, and this is not a crank down. It has that straight pretty much bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost like literally 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Yep. And so that won't pretty much crank down that much, maybe on a far cast. And if you kind of like not burn, but like a little bit faster than medium speed, it may go down about a foot, but it's not going to go down like 3 feet, 4 feet. So this is more of that wake. It's going to just wake on top of the surface. It's pretty chunky.
It is very chunky.
Yeah, and so I just like that because, like I said, it gives a bigger presence. It's more visual. When they're looking from underneath, they're going to see that fat, wide body and be able to see it from underneath. And I think it just helps targeting. You know, and I just really think it's a really good profile overall.
So it's got purple really and then purple sides.
Yeah. It's got like a purple side pretty much that goes to, I wish it would capture a little bit better color. There we go. And it has like a purple side that goes to a grayish sort of like gray olive color, and then it goes to that green top.
Okay.
And it all has
like a soft tail.
Pretty much like a little, yeah, it's a soft tail.
Yeah.
And it comes with replaceables.
Okay.
You can get, and you just glue them right in. They're pretty easy, but it's all resin. It's not wood, and he does make wood baits if you want to do that, but those are going to cost you a pretty good amount. But the guy's really good. That's another guy that I really like. He's the same guy who makes the what's it called? The nuisance dub. It's the same dude, and it's a Spanish guy.
I like that nuisance a lot.
Yeah, he actually he doesn't make anymore. He makes a smaller version, which people love them. A lot of tournament guys use them, yak tournaments, and they're really liking them because there's actually a couple of videos of guys on YouTube using the nuisance smaller version in some kayak tournaments and almost winning on it.
What's that guy's name?
His name's Edwin, but it's actually Legal Dope. You can find him on his Instagram, and also on his Facebook is really where he's mainly at. And he's a pretty cool guy, man. He does it's a family pretty much organized bait sort of company, you can say. He does stuff with his family. Pretty much is his son and his daughter that he makes the baits with. Sometimes his son paints the bait. Sometimes it's actually him who paints it. But most of the time they're helping him make the baits and pretty much process them and become what they are. So it's pretty cool overall. And he has a really good story, to be honest. And like I said, he's really good at making baits, and he can make carve really, really well, pretty fast. Wood baits wise, it's pretty crazy. He pumps tons of different, um, like different profiles. He just done like herring profiles, perch profiles. He actually has a new uh, perch that's gonna come out soon, and some guys got some in wood. Those are extremely limited, and those are worth a good amount of money. But the perch one he has coming, he has the tum tum, which is a bluegill style, which is one I'm gonna get soon, and that's a crankdown. That's almost like a bluegill crankbait. It's pretty sweet. And he also has a herring one he makes that he doesn't really make like in public. He doesn't tell you, but if you ask him to make it, he'll make it for you. And but overall, man, he's a really good bait maker, and the paint jobs he makes, I think, are pretty awesome for being a newer bait maker in the game. I think he makes some pretty good stuff.
Okay, so Backlasher's asking, how do you find out about these smaller bait makers?
Uh, Pretty much you just gotta do your research, I guess. It's honestly, I just have joined YouTube. I'm not YouTube.
Forums?
Facebook forum, the Swimbait universe, and then mainly is where you mainly find these guys at. And but Swimbait Underground is here and there, but I don't really mess with Swimbait Underground like that anymore, to be honest. Had some issues there recently, so I just stopped kind of like staying around there too much. But Swimbait Universe is way better in my opinion. If I had to choose one, the bait makers that are on there are always on there. On Swimbait Underground, they don't do that. So on Swimbait Universe, the bait makers are pretty much part of the group. So most of the smaller partner type bait makers are going to be on there. So when you see them post or they make new baits or whatever it is, they'll post it to the forum, and you can kind of keep a look on it and see, what's coming up or what's being made and stuff like that. And usually that's where you'll find these new bait makers, and sometimes guys just showing off some bait they made or something they made that just out of the garage. Nothing like crazy, but there's a guy, also a new guy that I actually was going to mention on here. And was talking to somebody last night on Instagram that is usually on here, Tim. And I was telling him about this bait, this guy that's thinking outside the box, and it's a swim bait that I've never seen anyone make before in this style, and it's a crawfish that's a swim bait. And he made literally a crank down swim bait that looks like a crawfish, and it's called Boulder Creek uh,
Cool.
baits. And it's really awesome, to be honest, and they look really amazing. He doesn't paint them himself; he outsources the paint, but he makes the baits himself, and they look amazing. Guys have caught some huge fish on them and nice fish, but he's not making them for the public at the moment. He's only making them for like his friends or close guys that he knows. So it's really like almost like in a prototype stage. But I think it could be something that's, a one-up step, of having something that's a little bit different than something else that you've been throwing. And the fish probably never seen that before, so I
Gotcha.
don't know.
All right, cool. Let's spin. Let's do another question, spin to win question here. Okay, guys and gals, we're going to move away from bass fishing for a second and ask a question about walleye. So this has to do with an article I saw this week A man named Richard the Breeze Nicholson broke the Pennsylvania walleye record, which has been in place for something like 40 years. He caught a walleye that was 34 inches long. How much did it weigh? How much did this walleye weigh that Richard the Breeze Nicholson caught breaking? Man, look at that. Fish in the southeast. Bam! He nailed it. 18.1 pounds is what this walleye weighed.
Jeez.
Pretty
That's a big
crazy.
walleye.
An
What did he catch it on?
I don't know what he caught it on. You can go over, actually, there's an article about this over at, I think I saw it at Carl's Bait and Tackle, to tell you the truth. Let me go over there and see if that's where I saw it.
I'm surprised I didn't see it on the New Jersey Report.
Well, yeah, it's where you live. That's why I wanted to ask the question, because I knew it was in your hometown. Yeah, it's on. If you go to shopcarls.com, it's at the bottom of the page. Did you hear about? And let's see what he caught it on here. The duo, let's see, he was fishing with live creek chub minnows. I guess that's what he caught it on, was
a creek chub?
Live creek chub minnows. Popular and often unbeatable technique for targeting fall walleye.
That was work, man.
Yeah.
That was work.
That's something, man. Pretty crazy. An 18-pound walleye. That would be a blast, wouldn't it?
Man. Yeah, that's a good sized fish, man.
Yeah, it's a huge fish.
Fight.
It's a huge fish. In fact, I can maybe
some stripers.
I'll share my screen here so you guys can see the picture of this walleye real quick here. How about that?
Hell.
It doesn't even look like a walleye. It's so dang big.
It looks like a giant perch.
Yeah.
What the heck?
18 pounds.
I didn't they look like that. Interesting.
Yeah, Texas Huntsman live bait. That's cheating. Well, I guess it's cheating. It's cheating if they say it's cheating, but if they don't, I'd take the world record.
Yeah.
That's or the state record anyway. 41-year-old state record beaten. Wow. That's crazy. Check its DNA. I'm sure they do that.
Proves at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Proves at least a little bit that fish, still can get pretty big, record size.
For sure.
Size. For
sure. It's pretty wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. So we need to spin for Fish in the Southeast. Fish in the Southeast. Fish in the Southeast is another one that wins quite a bit. He was quick on the trigger there, man. I mean, I don't know. Again, I got to see who's bugging the place here. So, pretty wild. All right, dude, let's spin. Let's spin to win. Thing's spinning quite a while, isn't it? What?
Uh-oh.
He won the Mr. Bass box. Is that crazy or what? Holy cow. Wow.
That was weird, as I was hoping he'd win one of them.
The first Mr. Bass box. How about that? I wonder what's in this Mr. Bass box. We better take a look. See if it was worth the time. All right, according to my calculations, this box is worth $30.94. This is the most coveted thing in the box. Mr. Bass sticker. That's priceless, by the way. All right. Then I got some of my favorite fishing scissors. The Cuda.
Man, I've had those for a while.
The Cuda Micro Scissor is sweet, sweet. Then we got a Bill Lewis square bill. We've got my favorite jig, the Jewel Baits Pro Spider Jig, 2 of them. Then we've got some Strike King coffee tubes. This is one of my favorite tube colors. It's called Honey. 8-pack of honey tubes. And some more Bass Reaper baits. The Fizzle Frog, Buzz Frog. How about that?
Hey, it's a good box.
Congratulations, Fish in the Southeast. You are the first Mr. Bass box winner. $31 worth of stuff.
It's a good score.
All right. Nice. All right, now the Mr. Bass box. Well, I'll just leave it on there. Somebody else could win another Mr. Bass box tonight if they want. We'll just leave it on there. I've got about 50 of those boxes, by the way. No joke.
So you did a little actual like bass box, little thing.
Heather, I've sent Jeff a sticker. That's my wife. If you win on the Mr. Bass show, the first time you win, I send you a Mr. Bass sticker also. And I usually don't forget that. Usually I don't anyway. I also got to do a Fish in the Southeast ticket for the drum. There you go. All right. Got anything else you want to share with us, Matthew?
Yeah, I just got just these two. Pretty much, I can show them pretty much concession pretty quickly. I pretty much got this one here is a Rafa Glide. This is a big bait. It's not small, and but it's a shad pretty much profile that he made. It's a Glide, slow sink. It's pretty much was actually designed for stripers. He actually has an interview. It's pretty cool actually. He just did one. But he has an interview that he did pretty much explaining a lot of all the pretty much how he got into baits, how he pretty much made his first bait and all that, and explain like what got him into making baits for bass and other stuff, because really he was more of a striper bait fisherman type guy. He was making baits more mainly for stripers, but he has made other smaller baits for regular bass and largemouth or anything like that. But this glide bait, I tested it out about 2 weeks ago, and sort of like around the time when I got it, and I used it like the same day pretty much, and freaking this thing, man, it glides extremely wide. Actually, it's my widest glide I have that I've tested.
Really?
It almost goes about like 2.5 to 3 feet back and forth. And when you give it that long crank, and then also, which is surprising for a bait that glides that wide, you can also give it those short chops, sort of become a choppy sort of glide. And which is why a lot of guys were saying it was a choppy glide, but then I was like, no, it wasn't, because I was like, if it was that means you would just be mainly doing that sort of like a KGB, and Chad Shad is, and that's a choppy glide. But this does not just do that. You can actually glide this thing extremely wide out and get it to where you can go slow and just pretty much crank that, and literally it will glide out extremely far back and forth, and it makes a really nice swim, and it sinks pretty slow too, for being as big as it is. And it's about like a foot every about 5-6 seconds, which is not too bad. And as long as you keep a consistent speed, it should get in, pretty quick. And like I said, it's really good bait. I would recommend it if you can get one. And the guys, like I said, it's been around for a while. He's made baits for Swimbait Underground. They've done a collab on there before. The Swimbait Underground crappie glide that he made, which is a crappie style glide, and that one's really nice. A lot of guys like that one a lot, and they swear by him. And a guy was selling one on Facebook the other day, and I was gonna get it, but I just ended up skipping it because I actually have a crappie glide that I have, and I haven't showed you guys, but um, that's for another time. But and then this one is the Piz Shadley glide
Oh,
that they from Piz Baits,
wow. I want to get a
and
Piz Baits, man.
this is colors the bleeding shad. It has like a little blood mark on the face, like it's bleeding from the mouth.
Oh, yeah,
This
yeah.
side you can see it a little better
Okay.
on the corner, but it's pretty much just to mimic that bleeding shad. But what one thing I just don't understand though is, you know, the joint on it itself is that old sort of joint that he has that he discontinued. This is the discontinue model, but the damn it, that hook keeps getting me. And so the Hiroshima Gilrilla uses that same method of that
Yeah,
joint, which is
yeah,
pretty much a wooden joint, is what it
yeah.
is. But once they mold it, it becomes resin. But I don't understand why he discontinued that. When I think, to be honest, when you have that, it makes it a little bit more quieter of a bait.
Uh-huh.
It's not as loud when you
Yeah,
have that harness or whatever it is, the eyelets in between. So it gives it a little more, sort of quieter, like stealthier sort of sound. And then also when in the joint too, with this sort of style, the joint doesn't move as much. Like that's the amount of play it has up and
yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah. It's
So
not
that's
much, is it?
barely anything. And yeah, no. And so when you go and mess with these other baits that have sort of like the eyelet joint, they can sort of range
Yeah.
all
They move.
different,
They
and they
move
make
quite
a
a
lot
bit,
with
don't
a
they?
lot of noise actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that to me sometimes can affect the way they swim glide wise, and
Yep.
the glide, I think that's why this bait is pretty good, is that the glide on it is just like very accurate. It's very on point. I don't know how to describe it, but it doesn't have like a delay in it. It's almost instant, like very responsive. So that's why I think this bait is pretty good for that. And but the Piz baits, the one thing I will warn people about is that they're not easy to get. They're very, in a way, like cult-like, to where the groups of people that mess with the baits is very annoying.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
one was hard enough to get, and it's not even a really new one. Some guys will even make fun of you for even owning the old baits, which is kind of messed up. But like I said, I'm not worried about that, man. They're not the ones that pay my bills. I don't, I'm the one
Right.
working hard for my money, and I can say whatever I want to spend my money on.
No doubt.
So that's just how I feel it is, and this bait will work just as good as any of the other baits he has in the new one or whatever it is. They're all the same bait. If you look at the design and the way it's shaped, it does the exact same thing, just has the different joint in the middle, a little taller of a fin, and a different side fins, and that's it. And also this right here on the bottom is gone. They took that out. But
Okay.
besides from that, that's the only difference. And really, it's the same bait, but it has the same performance and same exact swim.
If it's catching
So,
fish, man, that's
if
all
I
I care about.
yeah, exactly. And I'm not gonna go and end up spending $600 just so I can have the bait. And that's another thing that bothers me about that is that the baits, yes, they're worth that much money, but what people do you know are throwing $900 baits in the water?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Not many.
That is just
Most of the
stupid.
guys that buy them are hanging them on the wall or just having them as a talk piece to like say, yeah, look, I have this, I'm able to buy it, whatever it is. But most of the guys that have them, when they're trading them or selling them, they have maybe a couple scratches on the bait, and if
Yeah.
you really threw it, it would have way more scratches than it, or if it's really something that you really threw, it's gonna be scratched to hell.
Absolutely.
and be chipped all up like some of the clash baits I had that I used like crazy. And yeah, their paint jobs aren't the most resilient on the clash baits, and they chip very easily. But in just respect to the same sort of like look it's gonna have, it should have rash on it. You
For
know,
sure.
every bait's gonna get rash. And but most of these guys, like I said, there's some baits these guys have 2, 3, 4 years old, and they have no rash on them, and that's where the value is in the bait. It stays the same because they're not using it. But in my sense, to me, you know, I'm buying these baits, like I said, to use them and actually use them as tools, like any other guy that's trying to actually catch some fish. And that's
Yep.
just how I look at them. They're pretty much tools that, you know, certain ones work better than others. And that's why I was saying the crank downs are probably your best bet for right now, with this colder weather and stuff like that, which is just like using a giant crankbait
Yeah.
or anything like that. And you can catch some really good fish on that. And you might as well, you know, do that, since if wherever you're at, and the bite might not be as, you know, crazy. So you're maybe just going to catch 2 or 3 fish maybe every time you go out. So you might as well try to catch the bigger fish out of those 2 or 3, you
Definitely.
know?
Okay. We are out of time. We're going to do one last question. And instead of spinning, this last question will be for Matthew's JDM baits. So, Matthew, show everybody what your JDM lures are you're giving away, so everybody knows what they could win if they answer this question first correctly. All
These are the
right.
Mega Bass, Komori Curlies, the DRT VTS 5s, which is like a fluke that you can rig on a chatterbait, scoundrel, pretty much anything. It actually swims on its own. It's not like other flukes. And then the Depths Bull Flats, the 5.8s,
Right on, right on.
in a green pumpkin red flake.
Awesome. Okay. So here is your question. Everybody get ready. And whoever is the first one to answer this question correctly wins those lures from Matthew. All right. I was talking about the NPFL earlier. The NPFL has put out their new 2022 schedule. What is stop number 4 for the NPFL circuit next year? Stop number 4. First one to answer correctly wins Matthew's JDM baits. Now everybody's scrambling over to the NPFL website. Nobody knows that off the top of their head. So far, nobody's got it. They're guessing. They're guessing. There you go. Oh, no, he can't. He's already won. You can't win twice. Can't win twice.
Uh-oh. So that's
Can't
the
win
hint.
twice.
That's the
I give
hint.
you. There you go.
Oh, there, someone got it.
Luann, hey, you're the winner because the Backlashers already won tonight. And the rule is you can't win twice
I
in the
bet he
same
didn't win. I
night.
bet he wished he didn't win.
Yeah, he's probably wishing he didn't win before. So Luann Hay, I don't know if Luann Hay knew it or if she saw the Backlasher and said, hey, he's won already. Either way,
that's probably what happened.
Luann Hay is the winner. Congratulations. Now, how do you
Contact.
how do they get your how does Luann get your baits?
I'll put my email inside the chat, and then
Okay.
whoever it is can email me, and I'll get to you as soon as possible, and either ship it out on Monday or Tuesday.
Awesome. Thanks, Matthew, for donating those. That should be great. So, Luann, you look for Matthew's email here in the chat real quick. If you won any other prize, you can send a DM to Mr. Bass on Instagram. At Mr. Bass TV is my Instagram. Send me a DM there, and I will along with your name, your address, and the product you won. Also, give me your name on YouTube if it's not the same as your real name so that I can put 2 and 2 together. If you do not have Instagram, you can also send me an email. Here's my email address, mrbasstv@protonmail.com. That was a fun live stream. Thanks, Matthew, for your help. Tomorrow night, 7
No
p.m.,
problem.
I am doing the unboxing of the 6 cent Super 6 sack, premium sack, and hope to see you guys then. Don't know if Steve and I are doing a show this week or not, since Wednesday is the day before Thanksgiving. I haven't discussed it with him yet, but I will let you know. And hope you guys have a great weekend. Hope you are able to get out and
All
catch
right, guys.
fish. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you tomorrow night on the 6
Take
cent
care, guys.
live stream. Have a good one, folks. See you. Happy
All righty.
fishing.
Bye-bye.